Hello, good evening, namaste, sat sri akal, kem cho, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to My Dream TV and Entertainment. And आप ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं हमें इस बहुत ही खास से शो में because today's show is very special segment and I am your host, host and moderator tonight. I'm Rishali. I'm the winner of Mrs. Bharat USA 2018 Classic and I'm going to be your host, as I said, host, judge and the moderator for today's show. I would like to congratulate firstly Rashmi Bedi and Janak Bedi ji for conducting nationals this year at a grand scale in Georgia on December 10th, 2022. We are really excited because I come from the state of Georgia, the Peach State, and very, very excited to host the nationals here in our town. We are also especially very excited about Harnas Sandhu, Miss Harnas Sandhu, Miss Universe, who would be coming to crown our winners along with Shri Seni, who was the runner-up Miss World. And we have amongst us some beautiful participants that we are going to introduce one by one, who are going to talk and debate on a specific topic today that is a part of their participation this year for the nationals. And today's topic is, can it be acknowledged that generally speaking, men are better at some things than women and vice versa? I would repeat, generally speaking, men are better at some things than women and vice versa. So I would like all of you to meet our beautiful ladies one by one. Let's get this party started. Thank you. Hello and good evening, ladies. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate your time to be a part of this discussion, the panel discussion and the debate that's taking place. I know it's going to be a very fruitful session. But to start with, let's take a few minutes to introduce our lovely participants to this evening. So one by one, if we can just go ahead, starting with Pallavi Pantri, the lovely woman that I see on the screen. Would you please do the honors and get this party started?
Sure. Thank you so much, Rishali. Hi, everybody. My name is Pallavi Pantri, as you can see. I live in Atlanta, and I'm an IT professional. I work as a project manager. We are a family of four. I have my husband, two kids. My daughter is 12, and my son is almost 10. My hobbies are dancing, playing sports, and debating too. So I'm looking forward to have a healthy debate here amongst us, and all the best to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Pallavi, for the lovely introduction, and wish you good luck for the debate.
Thank you.
Moving on, in the sequence that I see on my screen, I have Deepika Puri. Deepika, would you do the honors of introducing yourself? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. You all are looking very lovely today. And I'm really looking forward to meet you in person. So I am from Columbus, Ohio. I'm a homemaker and I'm an artist. I love to paint. I always like to inspire others through my painting, through my art. I have two kids, a boy and a girl. My boy is 6 years old and my girl is 3 years old. She just started her preschool, a difficult stage for me right now. She's crying a lot, but I'm able to manage it somehow. So yeah, and from India, I'm from Chandigarh, same city as Harnas Sandhu. So I'm really excited to meet her too. And yes, I'm excited for this debate also. It's really nice to see you all.
That is really fantastic, and it's really commendable. Leaving 3-year-olds and getting to do with the daily responsibilities. I totally relate to that. So thank you so much for doing it, and congratulations for your participation. Next in line on my screen is surprise. We have Richa. So, Richa, would you please introduce yourself?
Thanks, Roshali. Hi, everyone. My name is Richa. I belong from Jamshedpur, which is the city of the Tatas. So I'm very proud to come from Tata Nagar. But I live in Ashburn, Virginia, with my husband and two kids. I have an 8-year-old boy and a 3-year-old boy. By profession, I'm a senior HR professional, specifically within talent acquisition, and I work for a global cybersecurity company here at Ashburn. Some of my hobbies are cooking, dancing, modeling, and traveling. We make sure that we travel, and I think that's a great way to learn different cultures and ethnicities and try different food. So yeah, this is a little bit about me. Really looking forward to meeting you all very soon, and all the very best to all the participants for today's debate. Thank you.
That is fantastic, Richa. And we have a lot in common because I come from the Steel City, Bhilai.
Oh,
And
wow.
I am also in talent acquisition. So I would like to connect with you on LinkedIn. Thank you.
Yes, we should.
Next, we have the beautiful Anita. Anita, if you would like to please introduce yourself.
So that's Amita Brushali.
Oh, sorry. On the screen, it
I
was
know.
like, I apologize.
No worries.
Anita, would
No
you please
worries.
introduce yourself? Thank you.
Sure, definitely. So thank you, Roshali, first of all, for doing an absolute great job with the moderation. I know it can be tricky sometimes, but you are doing great. And I'm looking forward for the healthy debate like the other contestants said. So myself, I'm Amita Jadhav, originally hailing from the city of dreams, Mumbai. And here I live in California, Santa Clara, which is primarily known as Bay Area. I have a 6-year-old daughter who keeps me on toes. So I can totally relate with most of you who are saying, what it means juggling, work life. By profession, I'm an IT professional working as a program manager in the fintech company. So lots of new things to learn, lot of new domains to learn. On the my entertainment or my hobbies, like Richa said, I like traveling, scrapbooking, cooking, modeling, and spending time with my daughter. I think that's the best way to stress relieve, or it's like a stress buster for me, just spending time with her. So I'm looking forward to seeing all you in person and for a healthy debate tonight. So good luck to all of you.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And I know it's tough, but that's what Mrs. Bharat is all about, right?
Yeah.
A full package, a mother, a wife, trying to get everything together and also going and nailing it on the run. So thank you for the lovely introduction. Next we have, and again, I think we have, I don't know to mispronounce it. Is it Sharayu? Okay. Am I
Yes,
audible,
let me
Sharayu?
tell you.
Not. Can you say something, Sharayu?
Yeah, let me just.
Yes.
Sorry, this is the phone. I am not sure why my Mac isn't working, but yeah, by profession I'm software engineer. Ironically, I still can't fix it. But yeah. So my introduction, I'm Sariu, and I'm also in software industry for past 15 years. I'm a software engineer. I have two boys. My house is full of toys. That's how I introduce my boys. But yeah. And I live in California for past 12 years. I have been from, I hail from Pune. I'm a very, very Pune girl from Maharashtra, India, and looking forward for a healthy debate here, and also looking forward for Atlanta trip. So let's see what's in store.
Absolutely. And we are also looking forward to seeing you in Atlanta and host you in our city. So welcome.
Yeah, also I was in Atlanta actually for my first span of life in US. So that was my like home city. So yeah, that would be a lot of nostalgia coming up.
Absolutely. Looking forward.
Oh, hi everyone. A very warm hello again. I hope you guys can hear me good this time. So, I am from Charlotte, North Carolina. I am a communication student, a national level swimmer, volunteer, and fitness enthusiast. Being a communication student, this debate is not only important to me, but extremely fun. So I'm really looking forward to hearing everyone's views. And yeah, I can't wait to meet you guys all in person. I am participating in the Miss Bharat USA in Atlanta soon, and I'm really excited.
Thank you so much, Aditi, for that lovely introduction. And we are excited to host you in our Peach State. So join the gang. Thank you so much. Now, without further ado, I think we all have introduced ourselves, and we are in this segment, which is so special and close to my heart because you get to put your point across, you get to speak your mind, and today's topic, once again, I would repeat it for you. Can it be acknowledged that, generally speaking, men are better at some things that women, and vice versa? Okay? Men are better at some things than women, and vice versa. So, this is the topic. Now, Sharyu, as far as I know, you're going against the topic. I'm just making sure that I have the correct information. So you are against. Pallavi, you are for.
Yes.
Amita, you are against. Deepika, you are for. And
Yes.
Richa and Aditi, would you please let me know whether you're against or for?
So I am for.
So I'm against.
Sharayu, Amita, and Aditi, and we have 3 for, which is Pallavi, Deepika, and Richa. So what we would do is, first we would start with everybody who's in favor, which is for the topic. You know, they believe that generally speaking, men are better at some things than women, and vice versa. And then we'll come to against. Okay, sounds like a plan. So, just few housekeeping rules for us. Um, when the participants are speaking, let's keep ourselves on mute. And once that is done, and I call out your name, you can unmute yourself, and the rest everybody can be again on mute. So the first person, again, based on how my screen looks, is Pallavi. So Pallavi, would you please unmute yourself and put your thoughts across for this topic? Thank you.
Okay. So as our topic is like men, generally speaking, so I would like to emphasize on generally speaking, because generally speaking, men are better at some things and women are better at some things. It's like vice versa. I totally believe in that because there are certain things where we see women statistically, we see women strength more in that profession and men's strength more in that particular profession. Like if I talk about teaching, like elementary, middle school, or preschool, we see female teachers. Also, like receptionists, flight attendants, nurses, healthcare support. We see majority of the women in that profession. Statistically, if I speak, 97%, around 97%, we have women in these professions. Not that men cannot do it, but the topic itself says that generally speaking, women are better. We're not saying that men cannot do it, but women are better in these professions. And if I talk about vice versa, again, 90%, 97% of men, we will find them as firefighters, carpenters, plumbers, pest control, in construction, construction work, or electricians. Mostly we see males there, men there, because statistically it is proven that 97% of men, they are in this profession. I'm not saying that women cannot do it, but majority of men are in this profession. So yes, I totally believe that there are certain things where men can do better and women cannot, and women can do better and men cannot.
Thank you so much, Pallavi, for that point. And what we can do is, we can, instead of doing all fours, we can do one for, one against. Okay, it would be more fruitful. So, Pallavi, do you have anything else to add for now?
Not for now, but can I
Yeah.
put my point in the middle of the discussion?
Yes, you can. We'll have ample opportunity, and we'll also have a summary towards the end.
Sure. Thanks.
Yeah. Now going for against, Shariyu, may I please ask you to unmute yourself and put your point across? Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. So for today's topic, so I have some notes which are in front of me, so I'm just looking at those, maybe in between, but other than that, there's nothing else. So for today's topic, generally it is acknowledged, like kind of accepted, that men are better at some things than women. I totally am against it, and I don't agree to it. Uh, Women are no less in any sector, and it's just that we see or we feel that women are not doing this section or that section for the statistics. It's only because women haven't tried there or haven't put their foot in that sector. But where there's will, there is a way. I totally believe in it. And I think every woman can do everything and anything. And after all, when we compare, we cannot compare all the women against all the men. There will be different types of women. Few women will be physically very strong, few women will be mentally very, very strong. They can do scientist work. Even the physically strong people can do the weightlifting or anything, which can be better than any common man. So we cannot really say that men are better at some things than women. Maybe today women may not really realize her potential, or she doesn't know that she can do it, but she just needs some like practice or some perseverance, hard work to do that thing which she thinks that she cannot do better than men. But I totally believe women can definitely do, if not better, at least as equal as any man in this world. Um, this is a very, and I also think this is a very old notion of thoughts that we have. Oh, only men can do this, women cannot do this. Women can do cooking, women can take care of kids. But we have to change it. And now I think times are changing. All modern women are working, are taking care of kids, are doing both the things, are balancing it out very well. And there is not even one area. I mean, there is still few areas, but there are so many areas that women have explored and are working in the jobs. Like there were earlier, I don't know, like gynacs, or how many gynacs women we had? Hardly we had any. So I think women are just making their progress. IT engineers, there are so many women in that area. Even for the example, for the film crew, I remember one of the actor was saying like all the women now, earlier, like in 70s, there would be all men, SWAT boys or filming or even the shooting. Now there are all women. Even the directors are women. So I don't think women are anyway less than men. Also, another example, so we have to leave these old thoughts and come to the modern world and just give opportunities to women and make sure that woman doesn't really lose her self-confidence that she cannot do it any better than men. I think we need to boost every woman's confidence for this. um, Going for the example wise, I would like, I'll give example, my personal example. Like in the field of software engineering, it was earlier believed that only coding can be done by boys or men, and mostly women would join QA, and men, like even statistically wise, women are more in QA and less in dev, which I think we should erase it somehow. And we should just say even women can do equally better coding. We can be much better at architecture or designing the systems or doing any software development in any area. Just that she needs to be given that opportunity, or she needs to realize herself, her worth, and do work towards it. Second example, I also thought of taking was like, initially it was thought, or even now, men are paid much better professionally for acting skills, but I think no woman is any less than any man. Like we have so many examples of fine actresses who have done much better acting than many men which are in the industry already. So like our very own Miss World, Priyanka Chopra, she has done so many movies and she has been exemplary in all her movies. Not just her, there are many other actresses too. But what I'm trying to say is it is not acknowledged that men are better than women in some things. Leadership skills. That was my third example. Indra Nooyi. She led the whole Pepsi company, and she was a rock star. She is a rock star, and I don't think she did anything less than any man could have done as a CEO of Pepsi company. So again, that is a very great example. Just that we have to realize our potential and do work towards it. Finally, I would like to say, or maybe conclude my lines by saying all cerebral opportunities should be given equally, and we should accept it that we are no less than men. And once we accept that, then I think we have like sky is the limit, and we can go wherever we want to. I think that's it for now.
That was fantastic, Sharyu. You have brought in some really good points. And what we are going to do is, please, other participants, keep making notes. If you want to cross question somebody after everybody's turn is over, then we will have that opportunity to do it. Okay, so feel free to take the notes. That was amazing, Sharyu. Thank you. Now we have Deepika. So, Deepika, I'm not putting you on spot, but yeah, you are for. So, we would like to hear your thoughts about this topic and why do you think you are for and not against this topic? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Vishali. So I'll start with the topic again. So the topic here is, are men better at some things than women and vice versa? This is our topic. And not that women can do these things and not do these things. We are not here to label that women cannot do these particular things which men can do. Like, we are not here to compare. But the topic is that either of them are better at some things. So yes, I will definitely, the way she just explained, that there are few jobs like firemen and carpenters where more physical strength is needed. So men are more better. I'm not saying women are not strong, but if we go with the physical strength, yes, there are few certain areas where men are better, and there are many more areas where women are better than men. Definitely, like Pallavi said, teaching. Yes, definitely, I'll agree with her. Teaching, and there are many. So okay, I'll go with me and my husband. So there are many things in the house itself. I'll not go outside. Just in the house, I'll stay. There are many things which I am better at handling. So if it's kids' school, their studies, or it's cooking, it's not like he doesn't cook, but I think I'm better at it. There are few financial aspects which he is handling, and I'm really bad at it. It's not that women cannot do it, but I'm just saying that there are few things which he is really good at, and there are many things where I am really good at. So that's how we, I think, maintain balance. I agree with Sharayu also that if women get the opportunities, we are really strong and we can do whatever we want. But still, there are few areas which we have to give, I think, men a little, what's that opportunity, or we should agree that there are few things which they are really better at us, and many more things in which we are really better at than them. So I think so that's my, because there are certain I think there are many reports. I was going through the Google. I was researching on it before that for our debate. There are many researches which shows that see, women are really good at multitasking. Men cannot do that. Never. jitna marzi try kar le, they cannot do that. Women are really good at multitasking. But there are other things like, okay, I am very bad at finance. So I think on like taking care of the house, the installments and the car, I think men are better than us in that area. So that's how we make balance. It's not like they are better or we are better. We all are better, and that's how we are making balance inside the house and in the whole world. That's what I think.
Thank you so much, Deepika. I have, after listening to all of you all, some of you all, I'm literally jumping to talk about, my notion on it, but I can't because I'm the moderator. So I'm saved. But I would like to see, Aditi, what are your thoughts? Because you are going against, this topic. So would you please elaborate your thoughts on this topic? Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. I firstly want to say that I think I definitely agree with most of the points that all the ladies have put across. And I want to start off by saying that physiologically talking, men and women are obviously both different. However, my take on this is a little different because it's not just about whether or not we can acknowledge it, but I think being a woman in today's society, the question lies in whether or not we should acknowledge it. I feel like when we do acknowledge it, we're kind of making it a norm, which is not helping bridge that gap. And I feel like that's kind of creating a greater gap that is already established in the minds of a lot of people that think that there are certain fields that women or men cannot participate in. So I kind of want to start my argument on that basis. And I just want to say that I feel if we acknowledge that, let's say, as a woman, I would be a better teacher, not saying that I would or would not, but if I'm saying that, I'm kind of implying that gender role, which I don't think we should do being in today's time. And we're also making that the norm that for men that may do want to go in the teaching line, like for example, I was a professional swimmer and all of my coaches have been males and they've been the best teachers of my life. So I feel like kind of putting that as a norm and saying that, oh, you know what, women can be better teachers. I feel like that for men is not giving them their credit. And I also think that in a way can also stop them for not going or trying to achieve things that society has labeled as not for them. And then same thing goes for women. So I don't think that we should acknowledge it. It may be a fact in some cases, which I completely agree on. But again, I want to really go a step ahead and ask the question whether we should acknowledge it. I don't see a reason why we should acknowledge something that's really situation based. So that's really what I would want to say. I don't think acknowledging this helps bridge any kind of gap, and I don't think it's doing anything good for our society. I think that we can just give credit where it's due, not looking at the gender. So that's what I would like to say.
Very well said, Aditi, and really liked some of your points that I'll bring in later. Really great points. Thank you. We have the last pair, and I would like to ask Richa, who is speaking for this topic, to put your thoughts across.
Thanks, Trishali, and amazing point so far. I'm loving this. So before I start, I want to say that, this question we all need to remember is about law of averages. Whenever we speak about something, generally, it is about averages. So there's no way where we are saying that men are better than women or women are better than men. So that's the first thing. And I think the second point that I want to bring in is, before I jump into some of my examples, is, a question like this, no matter which stance you take, keeps you at a risk of being labeled either as a feminist or as a chauvinist. This question, like the previous participant just said, we need to acknowledge. The acknowledgement part is huge because you don't want to get labeled as a chauvinist or a feminist. So I have a few examples. I feel physiologically, men and women are different. Again, they both come with their strength. They both come with their weaknesses. But I want to bring up a point, and I want to ask everyone over here, a few of you all are mothers. And I'm sure you all would agree with me that women are better as compared to men at giving birth, at breastfeeding. Men physiologically cannot do that. So, I mean, there's nobody, if anybody can argue with that, please come forward. The second example is, scientifically it's been proven that men are typically 6 inches taller than women. So there are professions out there which require people to be taller, are the professions and occupations that are most suited for men. No matter, I'm not saying that women cannot do that, but it is more suited for men as opposed to women. The other example is there have been researchers that have proven that women have certain traits, including multitasking, being self-conscious, being very empathetic and compassionate. And because of that, they are more suited to be in the nursing profession, in the teaching profession. Just as an example, somebody gave that, most of the teachers in the elementary school are women. Again, not saying that men cannot be teachers, but psychologically, by research, it has been proven that women show those traits more than men, and hence they are more suited for those roles. So these are the few examples that I wanted to bring in. Again, I want to re-emphasize that I'm not trying to lessen equality. This is not about lessening equality, but about celebrating our differences. And just as we have the yin and the yang, and the Shakti and the Shiva, and the light and the dark, men and women complete each other. And that's how I look at them. They bring both men and women bring their own set of strengths and weaknesses to the table. Thank you.
That was an interesting observation, and I really like the way you have balanced it while putting your point across, for the topic. So I really loved it, Richa. Thank you so much for your views on it. And as Richa said, if you have anything to cross question on what she said, we will get an opportunity after we hear from Amita, who is against the topic. So after Amita, we would start our cross questioning for this segment. Thank you, Amita. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. I think these were some amazing points, and I'm really sitting on the edge of my seat and trying to see how do I prove my point now. But like all my fellow participants who were talking about against, right? I think I echo the same feelings. I'm sure most of you must have read the book, the Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. I think it's a topic that we can never, ever win over, right? It's always going to be who is superior versus other. But just for the sake of this debate, right, I am voting for, or I am going to talk about is against. And the reason being, like Aditi said, acknowledging that in some situations, one gender is superior over other is making a norm, right? And for me, in today's world where I am trying to tell my daughter everything is important, you can do this is not labeled that only you do chores or you do this, or only dad does that or I do this. It's hard for me to even talk about, oh, why should I tell her, oh no, only men can do these things, or only you can do these things, right? Like a women, we are talking and we are fighting about sitting here about equality in the industry that we belong. Like, I'm sure you're in talent acquisition, right? Two of you, I'm in the IT space, so as the others, right? We are all fighting to make an equal space for women in the society, right? And then we come with this kind of acknowledgement saying that, oh, maybe men are superior in some cases. I think it's totally contradictory from my per se. It's like you shouldn't be even acknowledging this at this point of time. It's not one gender is superior versus over other, like you guys said. we are in an ecosystem where we both need to have a balance, right? We all have our own roles, men and women, and we all contribute to it. Agreed, there are certain physiological or biological differences that we are all born with. And we shouldn't be taking that into consideration when we are talking about equality or talking about who is superior versus other, right? Yeah, women are known as having taking, care or having empathetic kind of attributes, and men are considered as more about taking charge attributes. But with training and with appropriate education, I think all of this can be changed. Like, I recently went through an women in leadership certificate course, talking about this area, why, how, like, the women's, or there is a stereotype about, even at the leadership level, whether you are considered okay as a candidate for the leadership or not, and why, and how you can overcome all these traditional attributes that you come with, and how you can overcome that, or how you can leverage it to a point where you are not typecasted, or you're not like thought about labeled, hey, she is very masculine, or he is very gullish, probably because he has more empathetic, right? It's all where I think is, it's all about our traditional mindset, what we have all grown up with, right? How many of you have you seen, like when I have a 6-year-old daughter, right? So we go to birthday parties, or we go to some parties, she has male friends as well. And I have seen, if they try to play with a doll, their moms are like, hey, लड़की के साथ लड़की है क्या तू, बार्बी डॉल के साथ क्यों खेलता है, right? And so that's kind of typecast. Why are we talking about it? So why can't a child play with a toy, be it a truck, be it a Barbie doll, thinking it's just a toy, versus thinking it's a girl toy versus it's a boy toy, right? So that mindset has to change. And when that mindset changes, I think this topic that we are talking about is one versus superior versus other is going to be very, very irrelevant, right? Going back to, I know Richa mentioned about, and I knew this was one of the, like the psychological difference that we cannot overcome at this point, where childbirthing, it's not possible for a man. But the men, like, I read about certain areas, can men give birth? Yeah, so the transgender kind of men can give birth to the child. But again, with the science and the progress that is happening, I'm sure 10, 20 years down the line, that could be a possibility. We don't know, right? But what I'm saying is, given a situation, like in my close circle, I have two situations where a man is single-handedly taking care of his two kids because of his wife's dismissal. And he is doing an amazing, amazing job, right? From cooking to taking care to everything, everything. And I have a female friend who is single-handedly managing a kid all by herself. So financially, she's taking care of all this, take charge, take lead kind of attributes. She's managing her finances. She is giving her good schooling. She is taking care of the motherly side of the role as well. So I think it only depends on the opportunity and the right grooming, right, what you say, the skill set grooming that you need to do to be able to go into that space. Like, I know many of you said, like, teaching is a profession primarily suited for women, because we do have those take charge or the empathetic attributes. But men equally are in that industry, right? Because now it's becoming more common. Now, like you and me, we are this generation which is going to promote these ideas. Hey, teaching is not only for girls, it's also for men, right? Like, my daughter talks about it quite some time. Hey mom, in my school there are only two teachers, one is the principal and one is my physical teacher. Why there are no women? So is it like it's not a profession for a woman? And I said, no, it's not about that. It's all about becoming aware about it, becoming, giving that exposure. And for all of us, we are the pioneers. I think the change begins with us. If we drive that mindset, tomorrow we wouldn't be having this topic. I mean, we'll be having that statistics, we'll be having those kind of proportions where men and women are equally in the same industry, right? Like, just for an example, look at Kalpana Chawla or Neil Armstrong, right? Both men and women, they are equally known for the achievement they had in the astronomy space. look at our prime ministers in India that we had. We had Indira Gandhi, we had Jawaharlal Nehru, men, women, equally successful in their own industry. The athletes to talk about. We have PV Sindhu, right? We have Neeraj Chopra, men and women. I mean, it all depends on the exposure and the platform that they get, right? And I think that's where it is. I think traditionally we have to get away from this mindset that one gender is superior over others. And that's where we'll get the equality. Again, like my closing statement is we both are part of this ecosystem and we need to balance each other. Conveying one is superior over other is not going to help us anyways, right? That I'll rest my case there.
Thank you so much. Really liked some of your points and the examples that you gave, Amita. Really beautifully said. Thank you so much. Now, I know just to respect everybody's time, we will have summary, 1 minute summary towards the end. But now, if any one of you have any cross questioning, to do with any of the, contestants who are participating in this debate, we can go one by one. And I see Richa. So Richa, who are you cross questioning?
I'm basically cross-questioning everybody who said against. Nobody anybody's specific. But as you guys were speaking, I was just thinking of a few points, and I was making my notes over here. So, Amita, you mentioned the words superior and equality. I want to just mention that this debate is not about proving one is superior, and this is not about equality at all. This is about celebrating our differences. And I know you mentioned the last point that you made was, we should encourage and, we are the ones who will bring the change. I have 2 boys. I make my 8-year-old make rotis every day because obviously it's his life at the end of the day. He will decide if he wants to make rotis or he doesn't want to make roti. When he was 5 years old, I enrolled him in a ballet class and he came back home crying, saying that he doesn't want to go to a ballet class because he doesn't want to wear a tutu and he doesn't want to dance with 20 other girls. Why are there no men in a ballet class? Why do we not see? Because that dance, that form of dance is more suited for a woman. There are rarely any men. Can men ballet? Absolutely. I have seen some fantastic men do some amazing ballet. But did my son want to do it? No, because he doesn't want to be surrounded by 20 other girls wearing a pink tutu. So we pulled him out from the class because I was like, I don't want you to torture, it's your life, it's your decision. The other point that I want to mention is there is a term in Indian movies, we also say it, maa ki mamta. Why do we say maa ki mamta? Why isn't there a word for a man? Because women physiologically we have those traits to take care of a child much more than men. That is why there is a term called maa ki mamta. There is no other word in the Indian courts which has a term for a father. So those are my few points. I just wanted to say that it's all about celebrating each other. We all bring different strengths to the table. Can women be a firefighter? Absolutely. In fact, last year there was a flight that flew from San Francisco to Bengaluru, an Air India flight, which was an all women flight. All the pilots were women. The entire crew was women. How many times have you seen this happen? I don't think so I had ever heard that in my life. So can women do it? Absolutely they can. But generally speaking, like we were saying, the law of averages, it's the men who are the typical pilots. The crew is generally the women. But it was amazing to see this flight come from San Francisco, Bengaluru, which was a huge achievement. And I'm glad that it happened, and we are moving in the right direction. But again, generally speaking, it's the men who are the pilot, right? So that's all. Those are my few points.
Absolutely agreed. And anybody, any of the points that someone raised? Yes, Pallavi, you want to ask any question?
No, not question, but I would like to just say that, as others also said, that the point here is not the superiority, but the point here is the balance. It's about the statistically, if we speak, there are few areas where the research shows that 50% of women are into that profession and 50% men. If you talk about sales and marketing, it's quite a balanced profession for men and women. So it's the topic here is not who is superior to the other. Topic is there are certain areas that suits to men more. Reason could be anything, but it suits more to men rather women and more to women rather men. So just wanted to give that point. And see, expectations are always there. Expectations are always there, and there is no work that women cannot do or men cannot do. But it's all about the numbers that we are talking, because the word better, generally speaking, and better shows it all in the topic. That's all I would say.
Those are really fantastic thoughts, and thank you so much, Pallavi, for putting them across. Yes, Sharyu, you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we are not really doing here superior or equality or anything, but I think my fellow members are diverting the topic and trying to prove how women are better at some things than men, and then so men are also better at some other things. I mean, that is not really what we want to debate. We want to just debate or acknowledge, generally speaking, men are better at some things. And like basically, since I'm against, the poor people should say more about what areas men are better than adding
Yes.
the points about
And I would
women are
like to,
better, because we are
yeah,
not really
absolutely. Sharyu, I
we
noticed
really
that as
don't
well, but since everybody has put in their point across, when they spoke
want
individually, and now they are, generally speaking about what everybody pulled in. So that's the
to.
reason they're just putting their points across. But yes, let's not digress and let's stick to the topic. Is there any scope for cross questioning? Whether Aditi didn't like anything that Amita said, or doesn't agree, or Pallavi doesn't agree to what Deepika said. So if you have any cross questioning to do, please go ahead and ask those questions. Yes, Aditi.
Yeah, so Roshali, please stop me if I'm overstepping at all, but I kind of want to go back to and answer Richa's question, since it was kind of for all of the women on the against side. So again, I just want to kind of summarize for all my ladies on the against side that obviously it's not a competition. We're not trying to compete. We're not saying that, hey, women can breastfeed, why can't men? We're not saying that. But I think what we are trying to say is that perhaps it is true in some circumstances that men are better in some fields and women are better in other fields. But why is it relevant? Like, why do we have to bring gender into it? If I ask this question, how many of you women believe in gender roles? I don't think a lot of us women would agree. But we're okay with acknowledging these gender roles, and we're okay with placing them by saying that, hey, he should be better at this and she should be better at that. So I think what Amita was trying to say by, when she said that, we must be the generation that brings change, she was trying to say that it's absolutely okay to appreciate if a man is single-handedly raising his children all by himself and he's doing a great job. I think we should absolutely commend that, but I don't think we should bring gender into it. It shouldn't be something like, oh, he's a man and he can do that. Absolutely. Yes, he can. She's a woman, she can do it. Absolutely. But I don't think we need to bring the he's a man and oh my God, he can do it. Or she's a woman and she can do that. And kind of going back to what Richa said, I think I really appreciate you putting your son in ballet. I think that's very, very commendable. But would you not rather create a space where a boy that does want to go to ballet is not teased for going to ballet? I feel like by saying that ballet is more dominated for girls, I feel like that creates a space for, girls to perhaps say, oh, well, he's the odd one out. Why should he be the odd one out? The only reason why someone should be at a place is because they want to be. And I feel like when we acknowledge that girls do ballet, we're kind of saying that a boy can't be in that place or he's the odd one out. So I feel like I kind of looked at it from a different perspective. And when she threw that example in, it just kind of, I was like, yeah, like that kind of completely rests my case, because we should just do what we want to do, and we should just do what we're good at, and we should not put he's a boy and he does that, or she's a girl and she does that.
Thank you so much for adding to what Richa said earlier. Any last thoughts before we go to the summary? Yes, Amita, you had something to say?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what Richa said and what Aditi and Shreyu said, right? So I think the point here is, from the topic perspective, it's not about better or superior, right? And that's what we are trying to debate. It's everybody's equal is what we think. And that's the acknowledgement that we are against. Like, we cannot acknowledge that men are superior or one is superior over other, right? And Richa, again, I'm extremely proud of you for sending your son to the ballet class. I really, really, I'm proud of you for doing that. But again, this is where, I don't want to be in a situation where my kid wants to do something and then I have to pull them back only because they don't have that, what do you say, the support or recognition that it's okay for you to be here, right? And do things even if you probably don't have your own friends, or like if he's the only boy or she's the only girl, right? Just trying to, so for me, it's like I said, change begins with me. And I'm sure 10 years down the line, things are going to change. The statistics are really, really going to change, because we are seeing so many women and men in different industries, right? Which traditionally were considered for this gender versus that. So that's what I would say is we need to look from that perspective, is if you have the right grooming, and again, I'm re-emphasizing, like, once you decide, take away your physiological or biological things that you are born with, but what you have, what you learn, what you get in on this life, and what you do with that, with proper training, grooming, and perseverance, hard work, and everything, you can achieve anything, right? You could have more women in the WWF championship where they're doing heavy lifting. You could have more men doing nursing jobs, which we have seen, right? Like, I was earlier this year, I was in a trauma center. I went to a tragic accident, and believe me, 50 to 60% were male nurses. So it's just our notion and our traditional mindset that we try to bring in all the time, which needs to change. And we just have to make sure that it's the part, we both are, nobody's superior, everybody is equal.
Yeah, and thank you so much for summarizing that, Amita. Very well said. I believe, as Sharyu rightly pointed out, everybody started with for and against, and then made it really very generic. I was looking for some feisty, it's a debate. So, but then this is the opportunity. Just stick to whether you were for or against, and let's have your closing summary statement. Okay, because it's not a balance that we are talking about. Either you are for the topic or against the topic. So once again, the closing statements should be relevant to whether you are for or against. The topic is, generally speaking, men are better at some things that women, and vice versa. So who would like to go first for the closing statements? And let's try to keep it like short, within a minute, a few sentences, just to respect everybody's time. Thank you. Richa, would you like to go first? Looks like you're ready.
Yeah, of course, I don't mind. So
Thank you.
very clearly, I believe that men are better at certain things and women are better at certain things. I want to appreciate Aditi for bringing up an amazing point of acknowledgement. I think that is a point that I had not thought of, but it is certainly something that we should think of. But I also feel that it is a fact of life. I am a very practical person by nature. So it is a fact of life that men are most likely better at certain things and women are most likely better at some other things. So my closing statement is, I still believe in that. And I know some of you folks kind of brought up the ballet question, or like the topic again. The only reason I pulled my son out of it was for his own mental happiness. as long as he is happy in what he is doing and pursuing, will make me happy and will make me a happy mother. I wanted to expose that area to him, like I do with roti making, cooking and baking, everything that, children do. So I think exposure is critical. I exposed him to that. At the end of the day, he didn't like it. He didn't want to be there for no matter what reason. And I pulled him out only for his own mental happiness. So I think my closing statement is, we all should celebrate each other. Men should empower women. Women should empower men and vice versa. And we all bring different values and strengths to the table. But at the end of the day, we all complement each other and we all live in this ecosystem together. Men are better at some things and women are better at the other things.
Thank you so much, Richa, for those closing statements. Amita, would you like to go next? I'm just going in the sequence. I'm seeing you all on the screen. So
Definitely.
if you can go next, that would be great.
Definitely.
And we can keep it to like a minute and a half, because it's a closing statement, and speak either or, like either for or against. And if we don't, try to balance it, because it's a debate. Thank you.
Definitely. I think the question vice versa was a flip to it, right? Because it said men superior or women superior. So so I was using that angle because it's both, right? So I definitely would, like I said, I am speaking against. So I don't think men in any way are superior or better in women. Like my all fellow contestant were saying against, said that given the opportunity, given that recognition, given that platform, women can equally excel in every field. And we have proven that. Like, I was just reading up who is the strongest woman in the world. And I think there is Aneta Florozek. Hopefully I'm saying it right. She is the first Polnish woman who hold a record for holding like 500 kgs. So it's all about, typically we label masculine characters only with male. Only they can do all these strong things. But no, she did all her training. She went through the rigorous process. And she is equally a strong contender among them, right? So I think it's only a matter of giving an opportunity and platform to women. And there is, like Shari said, sky's the limit for the lady, right? We can do everything. So I'll rest there.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for those powerful words, Amita. Next I see on my screen is Deepika. So Deepika, would you please convey your closing remarks on this topic?
Yes, Vishali, definitely. So I am saying for the topic, so as a mother of a boy and a girl, I give them same opportunities and chances to prove themselves, whatever they want to do in life, whatever they want to explore and experiment. I am with both of them. I never tell my boy that you cannot play with dolls, and my girl that you cannot play basketball or baseball or whatever. I give them equal opportunities. But again, in the end, they both are better in different areas. I'm not comparing them. My daughter is better at something. My son is better at some things. So again, it's about creating balance. So that will be my closing statement.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for putting your points across. And next I see is between Pallavi, Aditi, and Sharyu. Who's next? Pallavi. So Pallavi, your closing remarks on this statement, please.
Okay. So again, I am for the topic, and I would like to just conclude that we all, males or female, we are born with some strengths and weaknesses, right? So I still believe that there are some strengths that they have some strengths that women do not have, and women have some strengths that male do not have. So they empower their strengths in their own areas, and that's how the balance is created between male and female. And I certainly believe that nobody is superior, and everybody is excelling in their own area. And in some areas they're better, men are better, in some areas females are better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pallavi. That was really well said. And next I see on the screen is Aditi. So, Aditi, if you can let us know your thoughts about this.
Absolutely. So to kind of rest my case and conclude my argument, I would just like to say that I think to emerge as an empowered society, we must not label or put certain gender roles in place. To create equality by presenting equal opportunity and respect. I think respect is big for everyone. So equal opportunity and respect, and I think that we can do that by not having to acknowledge that not having to acknowledge that gender role and not having to acknowledge that men are better at certain things or women are better at certain things. So that's just what I would like to say. I think we as a society should just support each other and help each other reach our best potential, be it any aspect in any field of life, even if it's something that hasn't been achieved. I think we should all absolutely go for it, and we shouldn't have the fear that, oh, well, statistics don't say that we may be as good as the man in this. I think we should just go for it. It's time to just bring that change and just break the glass ceiling.
Yeah, you got it correct. Breaking the glass ceiling is the point here, and really, whether it's for or against, I'm seeing a common pattern which is about balance. So I agree. And Sharyu, last but not the least.
Yes, so I would like to conclude by saying all the women around should realize their potential and get back the confidence and do whatever they need to achieve their goals. As we say, where there's will, there's way. And I would also like to say that it is not fact of the life that men are better at some things. It just needs some hard work, some perseverance, some little more from women's side. And we want to change this. We, Amita already said, we are the ones who will bring the change. So we need to change this thinking. It is going to be hard initially, but I'm very sure after like in next 100 years, if all the women are debating about this, women will be laughing about this topic, saying men are better at something. Just few 100 years ago, we'll be laughing at saying like, oh, there would be women who will be working in like industry or maybe doing the heavy weight lifting or I don't know, going to the moon. Definitely women must be laughing 100 years ago. So we need to change this, and it is incorrect from our generation point of view to acknowledge that part, and we should change. And I wish I could convince at least few of them here to say no, we are no less, and we are also better at all the things just that we haven't tried. Yeah, with that, I would like to rest my case. Thank you.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for that, powerful ending to the closure. I know being a moderator, I'm, here just to see whether the session is going correct or not, but I'm really, inspired by the entire discussion. And my take on it is, as long as you're not altering the law of nature, right? Giving birth or having a period, as long as you're not altering the law of nature, it should be the same. Believe that each gender has a different type of hardship around, as our society is not very constructed around equality, men may find it easier to do physical work for a longer period of time, while the women can have it easier in getting things done their own way. So I don't believe one gender has an advantage over another, and there's always a balance that we all agreed. And with this, I would really like to close this session by thanking all of you all lovely ladies. I really learned a lot, your take on this topic, and which is like this topic is great because there's so much to discuss with our own, spouses, or, Aditi, I know you're single, but for us to take back. And there is so much more that we can discuss and see if we can inculcate these learnings into our daily lives. Although we do understand the importance of, balance, having a balanced approach and not judging. I wish you all a very, very good luck for your upcoming pageant. I wish to see you all in Georgia, in my state, with open arms. And I hope I recognize you once you're here, because you'll all be like dressed, and I hope you recognize me. You're like, who's this girl? So I'm really waiting with open arms to give you all a hug in person. And we'll see you all on December 10th in Georgia soon. I wish you all the good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
And good luck,
Vishal.
everyone.